Hi.
Being talked about.
Being talked about.
Welcome to the Island Shuffle,
Oh.
episode 67.
67. Nifty Heaven 67. That's what they call it. The milestone that we all love to reach whenever we create serialized content.
Uh-huh.
The 67th one, that's the best of all.
67th Heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the show Seventh Heaven?
I'm aware of it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do that one next.
Yeah, maybe we should do that one next.
Yeah, I'll do that one next.
The 7th Shuffle.
The 7th Shuffle.
Look out, world, because it's coming.
But to make it easier on ourselves,
Mhm.
we just watch every 7th episode of the show. So then it only lasts like 20 episodes.
Yeah.
And that would be like, and we would see if we can keep track of everything.
That's a good, that's way less of a commitment than this show that we're doing right now, so I'm definitely into it.
Okay, we'll do that one next. You
Cool.
heard it here first, folks. The 7th Shuffle is coming up soon.
Signed, sealed, and delivered. As soon as we're done with the Island Shuffle, you better get your bottom ready for a fun new take on terrible ways to watch serialized media. Hey, speaking of terrible, what episode did we watch this week?
I don't know why you're speaking of terrible, because we watched a great episode.
We watched a
Season
good episode.
3, episode 19. It's called The Brig.
It's called The Brig, and it's a Locke episode, ostensibly.
It is mostly a Locke episode.
It is mostly a Locke episode.
It's a bit of a Sawyer episode, but he's the protagonist. Every episode's sort of like that.
Of course. Where do you... suppose we should start with just the main shit?
Yeah.
Because the main shit is really the meat and potatoes
The
of
main
it.
shit is great, too. The main shit is fun, and it's cool.
Oh, my God. Yeah, let's just dive in because it's good.
Should we do it like do the Locke things that happen in the days before and then do it chronologically, or
I kind of want to do the island stuff, or like the present day stuff first.
Uh-huh.
How do you feel about that?
Okay,
Because there's a lot to talk about. Or maybe you're right. Maybe we should do the past stuff first, because that stuff is very wacky and there's so much to talk about, and I want to talk about all of it.
We'll talk about it all.
Yeah, this time we're gonna talk about all the episodes. So unlike most episodes, this one doesn't deal with Locke's life before the island. It deals with Locke's life like a week ago.
Up to 8 days before.
Yes.
So, they dive back a little bit.
Mhm.
If it's Tuesday today, then it would be the Monday before.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a while.
That's kind of like a while. That's a reasonable amount of time.
A lot of things can happen in a week.
And listen, a lot of things do happen this week.
Yeah, it was a big week for Johnny.
At the end of the flashbacks, John says, "It's been 1 week since I met my dad."
It's been
over there, Linus.
It's been Linus.
So we open up with John Locke and Benjamin Linus, and Tom is there too, and they're underground in some weird facility, and they're looking at John Locke's dad, who's tied up and gagged in a chair. Hot start to an episode.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Very weird.
Immediately, John is like, "What? How is this possible? How could he be here? This is my dad." And Ben is like, "Well, you tell me. You're the one who brought him here.
You brought your dad here, idiot."
You brought your dad here."
Which I don't think that's true. It sounds like Ben's lying.
It definitely sounds like some bullshit. All through the episode, they allude to something called like a magic box.
That like whatever you need will appear from. But
yeah.
I feel like we never see the box, and the box never gets brought up
We
again.
never see the box, and the box never gets brought up again.
Yeah.
But for a while, Ben claims that there's a magic box.
It's a magic box.
It's a
and
magic...
anything you want. That's so like a grade school. Like
it's unbelievable. It's like, why not write it like cooler?
yeah, totally.
Why not like be like, this island has a way to tell you what your heart really wants. It defies logic, but it's incredible. And like that like is also corny, but it's better than what if there was a box that if you thought of a sandwich, there'd be a sandwich inside of it.
That's cool though. I would buy that box.
That would be a very valuable box for sure.
Oh.
Yum.
But what if they always forgot one ingredient? And you didn't get to choose which one?
The monkey's paw.
The monkey's paw. I don't understand.
You think of a BLT, but there's no T. You just gotta deal with bacon and lettuce. And
that's the monkey's paw.
The monkey's like you grant your wish, but there's a catch and a curse.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. The monkey's paw.
The monkey's paw. You know, the paw of the monkey.
The monkey's paw of sandwiches.
Yeah, of
in
course.
boxes.
Yeah, the monkey's paw of sandwiches in boxes. That's what
There's this actually incredible box that
Tell me about this perfect box.
there's always whatever sandwich you want in it. You can get it at any McDonald's restaurant. And they'll put like, I've gotten Big Macs in that box.
That's true. You walk up to the counter and
Yeah.
you say, "Give me a Mac," and they say, "Well, it has to. How about we give you this box instead?" And at first,
put
we're
it in the box, or give me a box, and whatever I get, I'll get. Okay.
Yeah. Just give me a box and surprise me.
Yeah.
Go to McDonald's and just order the box.
Give me the box. Surprise me. Oh, that would be awful.
That would be
You
terrible.
walk up and they say, "What would you like?" And you say, "Surprise me."
Great, you're getting all the fucking leftover fish fillets.
Yum.
Just stacked on top of each other. Just
That'd be a
5
surprise.
Just fish fillet. Just like walk up to the McDonald's counter and just be like, go wild with it.
Surprise
The
me.
box is your canvas.
Yeah, totally. Whatever you can put in the box.
Anything whatever fits. Anyways, speaking of whatever fits in a box, apparently John Locke's dad fit in a box and came to the island.
So John
in
Locke's
it.
dad fit in a box.
And Ben's like, why don't you ask him yourself how he got here? I don't know. I'm just a widow baby. I don't know
a tiny
anything.
widow, stupid
I'm just a
baby.
stupid widow baby, and I'm a dumbass dipshit who is constantly manipulating everybody.
I'm so stupid.
I'm so dumb. But why don't you ask your daddy yourself? Oh, and then get me my binky because I'm a widow baby.
So Ben's sort of coming into his own as a character at this
Yeah,
point.
It's really
Because before he was just like literally was a little baby who just sucked his thumb for this is like mid season 3. By season 4 and 5 he's the conniving motherfucker we know and love.
yeah, exactly. But at this point, he's still in his diapers.
Yeah, exactly. He was a fetus about 4 episodes ago.
Only in a few seasons does he truly become the boss baby that we know him.
Yeah,
to
the
be.
true boss baby.
The true boss baby.
Aw.
Locke goes to pull down the gag, and immediately Locke's dad just starts biting
Yeah,
him,
he's a biter.
which is a big move.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
cool.
he says something cranked, which is, "Don't you understand, John? Don't you know where we are?" And Locke is just like, "What?" And then Ben pulls him out and says, "You know what? There's no time for that. We just don't have any more time for that. Let's go."
Let's go. And then they just like hang out for a while.
They just leave, and they're basically like, "We're leaving. We're going somewhere else. But come with us if you want."
Oh, and they go to a field.
They go to a field. They hang out in a tent, and they're chilling in like a tented field.
Uh-huh.
All the others are there, and Locke walks into the tent where Ben is, and Ben is listening to a tape recorder, and Locke's just like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Oh, and Ben basically is just like, "Oh, we're well, Juliet's being a spy for us, and we're planning to kidnap all the pregnant women. You know how it goes. It's just
very weird. It's a weirdly straightforward conversation.
He's very like forthcoming about this like horrible plan that he's doing.
Yeah. I guess Ben is trying to like get Locke to trust him.
Yeah. I guess that's my bet is he's being forthcoming because
I always find the most trustworthy people admit to their kidnapping plans.
That's exactly it. Definitely more than the ones who hide them. You got to be
Yeah.
out in the open about all the kidnappings you do. So he's trying to be manipulative because, boy, Ben is such a fucking snake oil salesman all episode because he basically starts to stand up from the wheelchair that he's been in, and he goes, "You know what, Locke? I knew you were special because I've been in this wheelchair, and ever since you've been in camp, I've been feeling the power of the island, baby, and I can tell that you're a real special guy, and I think you've really got what it takes. But listen, there's one thing that you've got to do for us, and that's of course, the regular thing that I always ask of anybody who wants to join us, the others, which is of course." To kill your dad.
You gotta kill your
You gotta
dad,
kill
bud.
your dad. And then they cut to then they like pan over past the camp, and Locke's dad is just like chained to this pillar.
Yeah, a giant pillar, the biggest pillar in the world.
The biggest pillar you ever did see.
And yeah, there's a dad there, and he is gagged and bound, chained, and he is ripe for a killing. I would say.
I would say so. Then it's nighttime. Locke gets woken up by Ben and says, "It's time. Here's a knife. Go to town, baby."
I'm waking everyone up to watch.
Everybody get up. It's time for the ceremonial dad murder.
We're killing the dad,
We're
everybody. We're killing the dad.
You guys want to kill the dad? Are you
dead,
guys
dead. Kill your dad. Kill your dad. Murder the dad.
Everybody's got
murder
signs in the background. They're like
team knife.
They're applauding.
Yeah.
I want to know who's on Team Pillar.
Team Pillar. The pillar is so fucking sick, though. Look at the way it holds him there.
Can you believe it? He's not getting out of that pillar. That's for damn sure.
No dad could escape that pillar.
I tell you what, if I see a dad escape that pillar, I am getting my money back.
I'm gonna get my money back for that pillar if a dad escapes it.
That dad, oh.
Got another dad.
That's one tough dad. Is all I gotta say.
Good little old dad. A good tiny dad.
Just a tiny little big powerful dad.
I'd watch a show called Tiny Dad.
Would you watch a show called Tiny Dad?
Yeah, it would be a dad that's like 1.5 feet tall.
That's one tiny dad.
And he's trying to like discipline his kids and stuff, but he has like 3 teenage kids.
Oh, and they're all taller than that.
And they're all so much taller, and he's like up to their shins maybe.
Aww.
It'd be really funny and so heartwarming sometimes.
I think that they would overcome their differences and be a loving family.
Yeah.
Despite how tiny the dad is.
What do you think he'd do for work?
Oh, I bet he'd go. He'd go to the office, but he'd have to climb up onto the desk because he's so tiny.
Yeah, he has to sit up on the desk
and just have a keyboard like that.
I think he's a police officer.
Good luck arresting anybody.
Yeah, well, he's not that type of police officer.
What kind of police officer is he?
He's a traffic cop.
Okay. Well, then
I guess they arrest people. He's a meter maid.
Well, he's gonna have to climb up the meter to get to get the readings out of him.
Tiny dad.
Tiny dads. Honestly, tiny. The world's not made for tiny dad.
No.
So, poor tiny dad. Actually, just breaking my heart thinking about tiny dad. The truth of it is. Locke is there with a knife. He's got the knife like aimed at his dad's neck, and he pulls down the gag, and the dad just starts roasting Locke. He's just like,
"You're not gonna do it, you fucking loser.
You're gonna get
a wimp.
You're gonna get this loser, this fucking sack of bones to kill me.
You're spineless, idiot.
To kill me, the most powerful dad that ever was.
Yeah, unstoppable dad.
I am unstoppable." And sure enough, Locke.
Crime dad.
I'm the crime dad. And sure enough, Locke can't kill the crime dad. And then Ben turns to the crowd and says, "I'm sorry. He's not who we thought he was."
Which is so weird.
What is we actually learn later what the game here is, but hey, Ben. Ben's really having a just regular normal one this episode.
Yeah.
Just manipulating Locke into trying to kill his dad in front of all of Ben's only friends.
Just a weird little asshole that guy is.
A weird little asshole like that. Sure enough, guess who agrees with us on this?
Ricky.
Ricky comes up to Locke and says, "Hey, how do you like life on the island? Because I love it. Anyways, Ben was trying to embarrass you. He wants you to fail, because guess what? When word got back that there was a man whose legs got healed when they got to the island, everybody got excited because they knew that was someone special. And Ben feels threatened by that. But me, I'm in the real cahoots. So, and listen, the only way that we're ever going to move past this is if you really do kill your dad. And if you're not going to do it, might I suggest someone who can." And he hands him a folder. And Locke says, "Sawyer, what the heck? What's Sawyer got to do with my little old dad?" And Ricky walks away and just says, "Keep reading." And then the final scene of that is Locke wakes up and they've all packed up and they're ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
And Ben's like, "All right, we're leaving. Don't come and don't follow us. And don't come." Here's the full sentence. "Unless you're carrying your father's body on your back, don't bother."
Very weird.
Hey.
Kill your dad, bud.
We can't stand around here while you don't kill your dad.
Yeah, you gotta kill your dad. We have to go.
If you're not gonna kill your dad, Like, what good are you?
Don't bother. We're not friends if you don't kill your dad.
Rule number 1 of being another: you gotta kill your dad.
You gotta kill your dad.
You can't. Come on, just kill your dad already.
It's sort of cute.
It's sort of.
It's cute the way he doesn't want to kill his dad, but it's like he has to.
It's very sweet. It's very sweet, and just like a tender moment between Locke and Locke's dad. What's his name? Anthony Cooper.
Anthony Cooper.
That's more or less the flashbacks, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the totality of the flashbacks.
Let's hop into the present day, baby.
Yeah, because that's what Locke does. He just hops into the present day. He goes and he goes and sees Hurley in the night.
No, he doesn't see Hurley. He sees Sawyer.
Or Sawyer.
Well,
what
actually,
am I thinking?
Before even that, Sawyer has just had sex.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Sawyer
Sawyer.
fucks again.
Sawyer, if you thought Sawyer wasn't fucking ever again throughout this show, boy, guess what?
We got one more fuck.
We got one more in the bank, and we're all very proud of him.
Yeah.
So Kate kind of sneaks off and is like, "Hey, thanks, I'm leaving." And Sawyer's like, "All right, I'm gonna go pee now." And Sawyer goes to take a whiz, and who comes along but Locke?
John Locke.
And
Lucky Johnny.
And Sawyer's like, "What the heck? Where have you been? Explain yourself." And Locke says, "Listen, I've been infiltrating the others. And you want to know how that's true? Because I just kidnapped Benjamin Linus. I got him locked up away, and I need you to kill him. And that's the deal, my friend. So are you in or are you out?" And so there's like, "No." And Locke does the classic, like, "All right, well, I was wrong. Sorry for wasting your time," and walks away.
And
locks
away.
And locks away. And Sawyer's like, "You know what? I gotta see what this guy's up to.
This is too crazy not to."
I was just going for a pee, and now I get to kill Ben Linus?"
Yeah, Sawyer gets some crazy FOMO the second that Locke starts walking away.
This is just FOMO run amok.
Yeah,
What this is.
exactly. This is the dangers of FOMO.
Yeah, honestly, true. I just want to point out that my first 2 notes for this episode are Sawyer fucks again. Sawyer pisses again. Not wrong.
Definitely just the factual beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm. That's just how this episode starts, to be honest. So, Sawyer and Locke are rolling through the jungle, strolling, and Sawyer's like, "Well, why me? Why not anybody else? And why not you?" And Locke says, "Well, listen, they had this file on you, and it said that you killed a man in Sydney." And Sawyer's like, "I never killed nobody. That file's got their facts wrong, and you're a big rootin' tootin' liar." And Locke says, "Well, all right, whatever you say." Sawyer then proceeds to go, "Well, what else do they have on me?" And Locke proceeds to kind of dress him down and be like, "Well, they had that your parents died when you were young. That must have been hard. Shotgun to your dad took the shotgun to your wife and then himself. That must have been really hard.
Ooh.
And then you graduated from high school. You did a bit of jail time for all the cons that you did. Adopted the name Sawyer. Not sure why. Where'd you get that name from?" And then Sawyer, listening to all this, snaps, pulls out a knife, and holds it to Locke's throat and says, "Very knife-heavy episode, by the way."
Yeah, there's a lot of knife going on.
Honestly, proud of knives.
Yeah, team knife.
Knife pride. And
Here comes the knife time.
That is a reference to Arcade Fire?
Yeah.
Hear my favorite Arcade Fire song, Here Comes the Knife Time?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I had a song once, or an idea for a song that I wanted to make. And it was sort of like a sort of jazzy swing song.
Yeah?
And it was called Knife Time in the City.
Oh.
It just goes, knife time in the city, knife time in my mind.
Ooh.
That's all I got. So
That's
far.
all you got?
Yeah.
Well, if you hit the studio with that, if you take that to some session musicians, I'm sure they can...
They'll figure out something.
Yeah,
they'll write the rest.
They'll throw some solos over that and make it really pop. They'll make it really scream out of the speakers.
Knife time in my mind.
Don't you love listening to a jazz album on speakers and then going, "Wow, this album really screams.
This fucking rips.
This shit goes all the way to hell and back."
Holy shit.
Holy hell. That's, how like on jazz albums on the back it's always like a big block of text about how like John Coltrane had a postured demeanor, And when he walked in, he held his saxophone with the fucking like all et cetera, like this very like self-serious like thing. It would be way sicker if they were all just like, this guy fucking rips.
It's fucking nuts. Listen to this shit.
He's playing it so fast.
Ever hear a man do that before?
Not on the saxophone, that's for damn sure.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Man, oh man.
I can't believe my ears, fucker.
Oh my goodness.
This is nuts what he's doing over there.
You gotta put this on the player and listen to it your damn self, buddy.
Yeah.
That'd be better, I think.
Yeah, I would listen to that.
So I would definitely listen to that, but I would also listen to Sawyer screaming at Locke at knife point. And he says, "Why me? Why are you getting me to do it? Why the heck?" And Locke says, "Because I can't do it. I tried and I just can't do it. All right, you got me. You beat me. You figured me out. I just can't
I'm a wimp. I'm a mess. I'm a failure.
I'm a big fraud.
I'm stupid.
I'm a stupid dum-dum.
I smell.
I wear diapers even though I don't have to wear diapers."
I was hanging out with that baby Ben for so long, and I took one of his diapers and I put it on, and I noticed that I just don't like getting up whenever I have to shit.
And now I walk around with shit and piss in my pants.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It's so weird.
Do you think a man like that can commit a murder?
Yeah, exactly. I can't even go to the bathroom. How am I supposed to kill a man? How am I supposed to kill my dad? I mean, Ben.
Oh, jeez. So, yeah, they eventually get to the Black Rock. And this whole episode has such a strange pace to it. Because literally the core of it is just Sawyer and Locke, like, walking through the jungle. As Sawyer kind of, like Sawyer eventually kind of just, like, Sawyer's walking through with bare feet because he was just in the middle of pissing. He is just, like, and then just followed Locke. And they, like, make a point of that. And then, like, he walks into the river and, like, cools his feet down. And then starts talking to Locke about, like, you know what, that man in Sydney, it was a mistake. I was trying to kill someone else. And, you know, it's not easy.
It's not easy having no shoes.
It's not easy. Killing the wrong man is a lot like having no shoes and walking barefoot through the jungle. It's a lot like it's very much the same experience.
Which is why I think I might do both today.
Today is a good day to do both. So they arrive at the Black Rock, the famous slave ship that Ricky came on, and has a bunch of dynamite in it.
Beautiful ship.
Heck of a vessel.
Don't care for the skeletons.
No, the skeletons aren't great. The dynamite I could do without also.
Yeah.
But
I liked when it blew up Annoying Man.
It did blow up Annoying Man, and it did bring us my hero of my heart, Ricky. So there's always that.
Yeah.
So Locke and Sawyer walk in, and Sawyer hears a noise coming from the brig, and is like, "Oh my gosh, you really did it! You got him in there." But listen, I know you brought me here to kill him, but I'm not gonna kill him. You know that, right? I'm just not gonna kill him. I promise. And Locke says, "I think you'll change your mind when you hear what he has to say." Opens the door, locks Sawyer in the brig with a man with a bag over his head.
Baghead man.
Old baghead man. And he's screaming and hooting and hollering. Sawyer's like, "Open this door up." And
God damn it.
And then he gets pissed off at the guy and rips the bag off. But guess what?
That ain't Ben. That isn't the baby.
It ain't baby Ben Linus. It's friggin' the daddy.
It's Locke's daddy-o.
Locke's big time daddy-o.
Old Coop.
Old Cooper's here to say hello.
And he goes, "Hello." And Sawyer is like, "Hello."
Sawyer's like, "I don't know who you are, good sir." And, oh gosh. So now we get a scene. We get a real conversation.
Oh yeah, this is a great scene.
This is
a real scene.
This is like a real ass scene. You ever see actors do a scene together? 'Cause boy, do you ever get a scene. I feel like this episode really benefits from how tightly wound it is.
Yeah.
How like the entire main plot is Locke and Sawyer, which is a combo you don't get a lot of. And so you get Sawyer being like doing a lot of angry faces and kind of like coming to grips with himself. You get Locke being like weird and manipulative to him. And then in the flashbacks, you get Locke being like insecure and manipulated by Ben, who's being a fantastic like culty snake oil guy. And through it all is also Locke's dad, who last time we saw Locke's dad, he was like being like kind of genial and kind of nice, even though we find out, oh, he's actually a shitty dude. Here he's like fully like,
he's like the worst man in the world.
he's the worst man in the world. He leans all the way into being the complete shitheel. He's like, his like southern drawl is like all the way in. He's just like, you think my pansy little loser boy can kill a humble southern gentleman like myself? That's not great.
That was pretty
You
good.
think it was pretty good?
Yeah, that was pretty much what he
Okay.
said.
That's pretty much what he said. That's how he sounded throughout the episode.
Humble southern gentleman like myself. Hello, I'm the con man, Locke's dad.
Yep.
Well, hey, I got kidnapped by a baby.
I got kidnapped by a little old baby.
A tiny little baby came and he took me
I
away.
can't believe this happened to the poor old calm man like myself.
I'm not the man I used to be.
Oh, well, at least my son still sucks ass.
Yeah. Oh. And Locke's out there just sucking on an ass.
He's sucking on an ass. One thing we forgot to mention is that he spends this whole episode
Sucking an ass.
sucking an ass, eating ass, as the kids say.
He's just eating ass.
Very graphic, I
Yeah.
gotta say.
Yeah. It's
I
like a
could-
graphic tee or something.
I could have done without it,
Uh-huh.
but honestly,
But you got it.
you gotta have it
Yeah.
sometimes. Sometimes you gotta have the protagonist, the antagonist, the gonest of the show,
Uh-huh. The honest.
the gonest of the show, eating ass the whole time. What am I even saying? What are we even talking about?
I have no idea. It got weird.
It got weird.
I like it, though.
Hey, sometimes we get a little weird on this show. Sawyer is faced off with this man he doesn't recognize, and the man
They
is.
started talking.
They're talking, and the man is like, "That bald-headed bastard out there is my son.
That's my boy.
That's my boy. I raised him right." And like, no, you didn't.
He didn't.
You abandoned
raise
him and then stole his
Yeah.
kidney.
You idiot.
You bozo. And Sawyer's like, "What the heck do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, well, I stole that guy's kidney, and you know what? I also raised him. So you know what? I guess I'm the master con man. And also, guess what? I think we're all in hell, by the way, because let me tell you how I got here. I was driving down the road." Entered an ambulance, blackness. Next thing I know, my dad's staring at me, and my son's staring at me, and my son died in a plane crash. So I guess I'm in hell. That's where I think I am. Anyways, also I love to do cons.
And Sora's like, you love to do cons? And he's like, I have done so many cons. I did cons in this state and this state. I did cons. I had so many names. And then he lists off all his names.
Anthony Cooper, Tom DeLonge, Tom Bergeron, Tom Clancy, Tom Sawyer,
Tommy Tomato,
Tommy Douglas.
Tommy Douglas.
And Sawyer says, wait. I'll follow up on the father of Canadian healthcare system in a minute. But first, let me ask you about Tom Sawyer. And cause guess what, buddy? And then Sawyer does his best grizzly voice, and he says, "Sawyer's my name too."
And it's interesting.
It's interesting.
It's tense.
It's tense. It dawns on Sawyer that this is the man he has spent his whole life chasing, the man who conned his parents and then convinced them to kill themselves, and the weight of that revelation hits Sawyer appropriately. He gets very like quiet
He
and
doesn't
trembly
like it.
and upset.
Yeah.
And the dad is just like mouthing off the whole time. He's just like, Jasper, you're from Jasper, huh? Yeah, I remember. Oh, your mom was Mary? Yeah, I remember Mary. She practically begged me to rescue her from her sad sack little life. And it's, you know what? What do I care that your mom and dad killed themselves? I ran that con dozens, millions of times. Your dad overreacted, so what? And then Sawyer is like on the verge of tears. Like, I cannot overstate how much like the actor who's playing Locke's dad, Kevin Tye, is just having a ball.
It's fun, yeah.
I don't
that
think
would
I've-
be a great role.
I don't know if any actor on Lost has any more fun.
He's so mean.
Has any more fucking fun. Just
He's
hamming,
such a like over the top awful
he
person.
hams it up all the way in
Yeah.
this scene, and it is so delightful.
Ah, yeah, your parents are dead. I don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit. I'm clearly at a disadvantage, but fuck you.
Fuck
your dead,
you.
your dead parents are funny to me. It's like
And, you
great.
know, fair enough.
So Sawyer pulls out a letter.
Uh-huh.
We may have touched upon this letter in the past. We probably have.
Yeah.
It's the letter he wrote to this Sawyer man after his parents died. And it's all, you know, I know who you are. I'm going to find you one day, and I'm going to read you this letter, and I'm going to kill you. Pulls out this letter that Sawyer's been carrying with him for his entire life. Shoves it in his hand, says, unfolds it real slowly, and says, read it. And Sawyer's, I'm getting the two Sawyers
Locke's
mixed
dad.
up. Locke's dad starts reading it, and he eventually goes like, oh, your mom and dad died? Blah, blah, blah. Whatever, I don't care. And then Sawyer starts screaming, finish it! Finish it! And Locke's dad fucking tears up the letter.
It's cool. It's a crazy move.
It's a huge move. And then Sawyer starts screaming, you want to go to hell? You want to go to hell? And then takes the chains that he's tied in and then strangles him to death with the chains.
That's also a huge move.
maybe the grisliest murder that we see on the show.
Probably,
Do you
yeah.
think?
It takes a while. It takes like 20 seconds, and it's
Takes a long
gruesome.
time. It's gross. We get like close-ups of like the chains pressing into the flesh, and like Sawyer like grimacing and sweating the whole time.
yeah,
It's fucking
it's cool.
It's like a lot, but it leaves an impact for
I'm
sure.
into it.
And then Locke opens the door. Locke unlocks the door and says, "Thanks." Sawyer
Latest
stumbles out.
Skater.
Sawyer stumbles out, throws up, having just committed the murder that he's been waiting for his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And then Locke is like, "All right, here's thanks for doing that. I'm going back to the others. I was never undercover. I'm gonna go lead them now that I have my father's body."
Later, Sawyer.
And
Here you go, though.
for your troubles,
I have proof that Juliet's a spy. Just what you would like.
just what you would like. And Sawyer picks like fucking all right, and then Locke picks up his dad's fucking wrapped up body and starts hiking his way back to the others. And that's more or less the episode.
That's pretty much the episode. There's one small,
There's a very small
But-
subplot.
yeah. The Locke, Sawyer, Locke's dad, Ben
Yeah.
plot line is incredible. It's
It-
really good.
It's really like I definitely going back into this and remembering that like, oh, Locke's dad is also the man who ruined Sawyer's life. That's kind of contrived. I wonder how well that's handled. Turns out,
Awesome.
actually awesome.
Yeah,
Turns
they do
out,
such a good job.
turns out it's maybe one of the sickest episodes we've watched.
Yeah.
The way the episode is paced as like this weird slow burn,
Uh-huh.
the way it like culminates, the way it like not only it refers to Locke's like whole character as like someone who was paralyzed and then healed by the island and is like looking for himself on this island clearly.
Uh-huh.
Ben's position manipulating him, and then also Sawyer's whole past. Like it's like, oh, this show is very silly and over the top, but also these characters are real and these moments are impactful.
Totally. Yeah.
It really feels like the just absolute best of like the middle of Lost.
Yeah.
Where it's just like these guys are still real, but shit's also fucking wild.
Yeah,
Like-
it's wild in like a very like understandable way, where it's
Mhm.
like all of these things that seem somewhat inevitable, or at least this one thing that seems somewhat inevitable,
Mhm.
and that they've been hinting at for like 3 whole seasons
Mhm.
now,
Mhm.
is finally happening in
Yeah.
front of us, and it's good.
Yeah.
And even though there is like the fact that the dad sort of showed up out of nowhere is
Yeah.
a little bit weird.
And the fact that Ben is like being a weird and manipulative guy, like I don't know what Ben gets out of this. And then Ricky comes along and is just like, Ben's just being a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah,
like,
but then it's like everything that goes down in the Black Rock is just so satisfying.
yeah, that scene is just really fucking something else. It's this show like really firing on all cylinders.
It's good.
There's a minor B plot that we should address before we end the episode.
Yeah.
Hurley, Jin, Desmond, and Charlie are hiding Naomi in a tent. And they
Naomi being the
think, yes.
pilot
Mm-hmm.
from a helicopter that came from the freighter.
Yes.
Not Penny's boat. Penny's boat.
Yeah, that boat. The very same boat that gives us Daniel Faraday and all those chumps.
She's the first one to come, and she crashes.
She crashes. She's here. They're keeping her a secret because they don't know who to trust. They think, should we trust Jack? Well, Jack's been hanging out with this Juliet lady, so I don't know. Maybe we should trust Saeed. Saeed comes through and says, "Hey, I'm Saeed. I hear that you're here. What's up? What's the deal?"
Sup.
Sup,
It's me, Saeed.
It's me, Saeed.
Sup,
I'm just here to say sup. And Naomi's like, first of all,
Sup.
they found your. First of all, what's up? Second of all, they found your plane. It had all the bodies in it. So I don't know what's going on. This is pretty crazy, huh? Anyways, also here's a phone. And so Saeed and Hurley are just like hanging out in the sand, trying to fix the phone, and Saeed's being like, "I've never seen anything this sophisticated. It's crazy." And Kate comes along and says, "What the heck is that
What's up
thing?
with that phone?"
Give me that phone." Saeed says, "Listen, you have to promise not to tell Jack about this." Immediately, Kate goes, "Jack, they're hiding a lady in the tent from you because they don't trust you."
Immediately. It sort of sucks, that one, actually.
It kind of does suck. But Jack, instead of being mad about it, is like, she has a way off the island? How? So it's just kind of like a minor advancement of that plot. You get to see the other people for a while. You get to see Desmond be attractive. You get to see the highlight for me is when they decide, oh, we can't trust Jack. Who can we trust? Saeed shows up in the tent and everybody's just like, "Oh yeah, what's good, Saeed?"
Yeah.
Like Saeed is just like innately the most trustable man.
Saeed is the most trustable man and the
so
most
good.
competent of all of
He's
them.
so good.
Yeah,
Love
he's
to
the
get a
best.
good taste of competent Saeed.
I hate that all of his romantic interests die.
It's no good. He deserves better than that. He
Yeah.
deserves happiness.
Yeah.
He never gets that. Anyways, that's the episode. It's a great one.
It was very good.
Much better than I was expecting, to be honest.
It was fan-frickin-tastic.
If you want a reminder of the... so I'm glad we all enjoyed that episode. But I'm going to remind you that this is the show Lost, and that overall it's not very good because I've got some questions that were posed by this episode for you.
Are they absurd?
They are definitely absurd, and the answer is even more absurd because guess what? Lostpedia has the questions and answers page, and I've got questions for you.
Let's hear it.
So, what were the ruins that Anthony Cooper was tied to?
Heaven? Hell?
Unanswered.
Oh my god.
It seems likely to have been built by the Egyptians, given that this was
Fuck this.
Yes, immediately, right away. First question,
Garbage.
no answer, maybe Egypt.
Why do people write these questions?
For fun.
Oh my
Fun
god.
speculation about your favorite show, Lost.
It's called questions and answers, and then the questions posed don't have answers.
Right? Unanswered. Then don't take it out.
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
You can edit the wiki. Why does Locke need to kill his father?
I don't know.
Well, listen. It seems that letting go of one's baggage is an essential part of rising to leadership of the others. Ben similarly killed his own abusive father.
Oh, I didn't know he killed his dad.
That is news to us, isn't it? We haven't seen
Good
that.
for him.
It does happen, and it's good.
I guess probably during the big Dharma, mass murder?
It isn't
Yeah.
part of that, yeah. Why does Ben have the others obsessed with the pregnancy problems?
Because it has been a problem.
It has been a problem. See, now that's what I would think, right? Is like because that's a valid problem to have
You
on an
can't
island where you're trying to
reproduce on this
survive.
island,
We
but if
can't-
you want a society there, then you need to.
Yeah, that's kind of a critical part of having a society. Valid concern. The answer they give instead is Ben has soft spot for mothers and children, born out of his mother having died giving birth to him.
Garbage. No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
If he had a soft spot for mothers and children, he wouldn't
have
kidnap them all the time.
He wouldn't kidnap them all the time.
That's not what a soft spot
That's
is.
the opposite of that is a hard spot.
He has a hard spot for these people.
Yes, he has a very difficult spot. What are the, quote, more important things, unquote, that Richard says the others are on the island for?
There is no more important things.
Well, are you sure about that?
I guess Jacob and heaven and what the fuck? I don't know.
It seems Richard is alluding to more spiritual and philosophical matters that Ben has lost sight of. For example, Jacob brought the others originally in a long process to prove that mankind can be redeemed and not succumb to a destructive cycles. Jacob
They're
also
the most destructive people in the world.
Yeah, you really blew that one, Jacob. I gotta say. You gotta take the L on that one, I think. Jacob also works as protector of the island in order to prevent death from breaking out against mankind. Sure. Richard's comment may also allude to Locke's desire to live in natural and spiritual harmony with the island, against Ben's more technological direction.
What
Excuse
are
me?
these words?
Excuse me? I mean, look. What? Oh, man. What did I do? I fucked it up. We lost the rest of the questions, but the rest of them were
Those
all
were
like
garbage questions.
The rest of them were not that important. There were 2 more, and it was just like, where did Sawyer go? He went home.
He went,
like,
yeah,
it
went
was
to
like
the beach.
It was like, what is Juliet a spy? Yes. What is Juliet's plan to be a spy? What can Juliet tell them that she's a spy?
She's a spy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're fine without that.
Fascinating.
Fascinating stuff. Just like, I love to remember about Jacob. I just love to a good come down from a good episode of Lost, so I don't disappoint myself too much going into this.
Totally.
role,
You're
right?
like, oh, it's all leading up to this awful conclusion.
It's all leading up to the good shit that I like to see. Speaking of the good shit that I like to see, what do you say we roll ourselves a fresh new episode of the good show called Lost?
I got one loaded up already. I went to random.org, a true random number generator. I put in 1 to 60, and I got 35.
35. We're not going too much farther down, are we?
I love it. Maybe it's just the next step.
No, in fact, it isn't. It's season 4, episode 4, Eggtown.
Eggtown. I don't give a shit if it's bad. The name alone is worth it.
It's worth it for living in Eggtown alone, if you ask me. Well, folks, that's going to do it for us. I've been Bean.
I've been James.
You can follow me on Twitter at Barrier Trio. You can find James's goods at James Brown, or also jamesbrown.space, where he keeps all his various projects. Projects like the local comedy show Squad Laughs. If you're in Montreal, keep your eye open for a funny not an open mic night, but a funny stand-up comedy night full of friends and laughter. And also Lovable Favorites, a fun podcast about fan fiction.
Another podcast that you were just on.
I was just on it but weeks ago, my dear boy.
But mere weeks ago.
Check that out if you can't get enough of James Brown. And honestly, you can never get enough of this guy. Look at him. I'm looking at him right now, and there's just no limit.
Yay.
There's no limit, James. That's what I call you.
That's me.
So there's other stuff that we say at the end of this episode. And, of course, you can follow the show on Twitter at Island Shuffle, or at facebook.com/The Island Shuffle. You are welcome to leave us a review or a rating on iTunes if you'd like, because that is a good way for us to get exposure. Also, we are hosted on noisepace.xyz. Matt was kind enough to have us on his podcast network, and now, guess what? There's a bunch of great podcasts there.
There's so many now.
You got My Pod Cabbages, City Girls Make Do, Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die, Giants Confirmed. There's more than that too, but those are the ones I can think of right now. And
that's a pretty good list.
Honestly, all good shows, all shows that I love to listen to. Go check it out. Give him a hug next time you see him, and I think that's the whole kebab. That's the whole kabang, isn't it?
I think so.
I think so. Thank you, James, for coming with me on this journey through an episode of Lost.
It's been a good one.
It's been a good one.
Particularly good one.
It's been a particularly good one. What do you say we say what we say at the end of every episode?
I'd love to say what we say.
Let's say what. Well, what do we say? What do you say we say